What's up? Jay Does Reviews here. I'm Jay, and the review is of a review. Let me explain. Oh, if you're into the gaming community like I am, then you probably know that gaming journalism is a joke. Just look at all the IGN reviews to laugh at. Too much water. Today I'm actually going to be doing a review of a Wired video. Not to be confused with the Daily Wire, though if you want, I can absolutely destroy Ben Shapiro movie review if you want. But the video I'm going to look at today is entitled The Most Disgusting Game of All Time, Hotline Miami. And in this video, we see one of the least constructive arguments I've seen. So, if you don't know, Hotline Miami is a 2012 indie game in which you pretty much go around and clean up entire embassies full of Russian mobsters during the late 1980s in some very, very gruesome ways. And the game was a huge hit. Picture it like this. It was pretty much John Wick the game that's somehow better than John Wick the game that came out before John Wick. And while I'm at it, I might want to address some biases. I do like this game. I really do. And I don't really agree with his claim, in quotation marks, because, well, you'll see why I put in that in quotation marks. So let's begin. And yes, I do know that this is completely asked on the spot and where he had to give this review as fast as possible. But as you'll see, maybe it's not the best strategy. It doesn't allow you to pick a side and be able to have an argument and to defend it. And then you just get a cluster fluff of a review that you're about to kind of understand. Let's start it.
This is an unnecessarily rushed explanation of the most disturbing game of all time, Hotline Miami. Hotline Miami really tricks you into thinking it's going to be kind of cute because it has this indie game sort of pixel aesthetic and it looks like you're going to play Smash TV or something like that, and it's going to be, Smash TV obviously was violent, you shot a lot of people, but, it was all in good fun. So Hotline Miami kind of looks like it's about the same thing. It's sort of an overhead view. It kind of looks like the old Grand Theft Autos, but not the new Grand Theft Autos.
Okay. So, where do I begin? No. Hotline Miami isn't cute. It is nothing remotely close to cute. Even in these screenshots from the game that aren't depicting violence aren't cute. The poster shows a guy in a mask holding an unconscious woman with a bloody axe surrounded by a bunch of people. That doesn't look very cute. Unless you thought Eraserhead was absolutely adorable. Also, the examples he uses don't really support the claim that you were tricked into thinking it's cute. Right? I don't think anyone thought this was going to be Stardew Valley. It's just not. It looks not getting close into a cute pixely style. It's pixely, but it's not cute. Okay, so how do I say this? All games are meant in good fun. Alright? Unless you're unless you're trying to make some game in which you do some pretty messed up stuff, like in something like JFK Reloaded. It's in good fun. I don't know why he brings this up.
The problem is the controls are really kind of very quick and fluid and floaty, and so there's a possibility that you're going to bust into this room full of guys, and what's going to happen is you're going to do a full Pulp Fiction thing where the guy comes out of the kitchen and he's like, die, 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 and then none of the bullets hit, and then you get creamed. So basically, by the time you're ready to go into one of these rooms, especially if you're already sort of at the end of the level and like everything's on the line, you got to do the whole level over again. If you screw up, your heart is pounding, pounding, pounding really fast because like, you really feel like you're in this live or die kind of situation.
I hate to tell you this, but there is the ability to look ahead at a room and lock onto a target, so you don't end up like Jerry in Pulp Fiction and go in and blind and going bam, 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 and missing all your targets while dying yourself. Sounds like a bit of a skill issue, if you ask me. Seriously, did you not even play the tutorial? Okay, I'm going to skip through a bit, but he's just praising this game at this point. Talking about the fast gameplay. Like, yeah. It's a fast-paced game. Is this part of the trap that you're supposed to be lured into with all the violence and the disturbingness? Though, I do want to say this. The violence itself is not disturbing. It mostly just comes off as shocking, really. The disturbing part of this game is after the violence. That I'm going to talk about next.
And when you actually are able to kill all the dudes in the room, you feel like this, sense of euphoria. But then you have this whole sort of crazy climb down at the end of it, because what happens is, after you kill this whole house full of people, you have to leave the house meticulously and climb over all of their corpses and walk over all the blood and look at all the damage that you did. And it's kind of really disturbing.
Yeah, of course they're going to make you walk through bodies that you just killed. And after each level, you have a conversation with a character that most people refer to as Beard, who talks about how scared he is of the violence, how concerning it is, showing the effect and that the actions have on everyone else. And also making use to make you feel bad as part of its anti-violence rhetoric. Now, let's see what else this guy has to say.
Then they make it even more disturbing because the entire thing feels like this crazy coke-fueled drug trip, because the level is rotating, and it's rotating back and forth, and it makes you feel like you're very dizzy, and then there's this sort of garish neon day glow colors being pumped into your eyeballs like you're in Las Vegas and you just did too many drugs and passed out in the middle of the street.
So for an explanation why it feels like a drug trip is because the character that you play as, often referred to as Jacket, isn't exactly the most sound. So, all this twisting and turning that you're talking about is on purpose to make you feel mentally disoriented as Jacket. Yeah, and it's also the 80s, of course. Of course, this guy's on something.
And there's techno music playing.
Dude, it's synthwave, not techno.
And it's all very disturbing, and it really just makes you want to, finish a level and then just go down and walk away and have a nice cup of herbal tea and forget all about it. But the game is so addictive that you want to play more and more and more and more and more.
But yes, that pretty much sums up the video. Oh. and a good reminder not the whole thing with how he's just kind of praising the game, but it's at the beginning it's talking about how disgusting it is. Kind of comes off like when you're in a debate team and you're given the prompt to go against the topic that you believe in. This is the review equivalent. So now that's about it. Overall, not very constructed. I know he had to rush this and was asked on the spot, but maybe this isn't the best tactic for reviews. And maybe you shouldn't get the creators of Whose Line Is That Anyway who give you prompts for game reviews. Well, I'm going to let the curtains fall on this review and say adios. See you guys.